Hey everyone, from me, Brent Graham. Good for the game.co.za. It's Thursday night, 9 o'clock. Time for the Handicap Rugby Chat That Matters. We're going to be talking rugby betting. There's not a hell of a lot of rugby to talk about this weekend. I don't think either of my guests are experts in the NPC, but we're going to be touching on the Currie Cup, and we'll look ahead to the Rugby Championships as well. I'm going to leave you in a little bit of suspense to introduce, I'm not going to call him a new guest, let's just say a face from the past, and start off at the top of the screen there with the Oracle. Gav, good. Welcome back to the show, and thanks very much for filling in last week. You pretty much had to take over the whole show after I thought it was my Wi-Fi, but I got a feeling tonight I might prove it's my computer let me down. So welcome back.
Yeah, I think Heinrich did a very good job, Brent. I just moved along. I was going to say I've come across this this YouTuber this week. His name is Wildcard. You got to look him up, and you've got to look at the rant. He's an Australian supporter, and he certainly made me laugh watching the review of the first and second game, South Africa and Australia. I enjoyed the rugby last week. Obviously, Argentina got blown away, but I was thinking about that Argentina playing four halves. I think they won. They definitely won one. That was the second half of the first game, and I'd say it was probably. It was a draw in the second half of the second game, and the New Zealanders won the first half of the second game, and they probably edged the first half of the first game. I'd say that series was, I know it was 1-1, obviously, but I think Argentina got a lot out of that, and I think they're going to be very difficult to beat at home. This Australian team is nowhere, and everybody, again, talking about South Africa being out of Super Rugby, so I think there's a lot of merit in that. But we'll see when New Zealand come next week, and I see -7. It's the highest I've ever seen. I know someone said there was -8. I haven't seen it yet, but -7, South Africa against New Zealand. I just remember, what was that guy's name on the show, the Saturday morning show that you used to be on with Neil Andrews on SuperSport?
Neil Andrews, Barney?
No, the soccer guy. No, the soccer guy.
Terry Payne.
Terry Payne said the one day, I think it's 2014 or 2015, he said, "Did you say even money on New Zealand? I can get even money on New Zealand?" So 5-2, 28-10, nearly 3-1 New Zealand. Biggest price I've ever seen in any rugby game. That's massive. Ireland weren't even this minus to, this bigger minus to them. So. And I'm seeing the same thing about Argentina over Australia, and that one doesn't seem like enough. It looks like it's way too short. Anyway, I won't have any bets on the Tri Nations games until next week. I'm interested to see the price movements, but I'm not a big punter anymore. I'm a small punter now, so it doesn't matter if I wait. Very little in it.
Well, your punting habits may have changed, but your long introductions certainly haven't. Poor old Couch has been waiting for me to call him, and they're wondering if he's going to get the nod. And it's welcome back to Couch Critic. Couch, of course, you and I are regulars on the show at the start. You were one of the first guests, if not, I think, the first guest, together with Heinrich on the show. You've got your own show now, the Los Gamal Afrikaans show on a Thursday night. But great to have you back on, mate. I know you've been. I picked you up on the forum. You're getting back into your betting again, if I'm reading it correctly.
Yeah, I think Gavin is also, it goes with ebbs and flows in your life and what you're doing at the moment. So no, it's pretty solid and enjoying a punt, and the styles start to differ a little bit, and I'm more like grow tips at the moment, going for some multis and things like that. But no, still enjoying the punting. Probably not as big as sometimes previously, but no, it's good, and it's going well with the show, and just enjoying rugby.
And tell me something, did I see that? I know you were up at Loftus not that long ago to watch the Boks play, but are you coming up to Ellis Park for the New Zealand test?
No, Brent, I'm giving that one a skip. I mean, these days of the cost of the tickets, I think doing two is already a bit of a bederfie, as they say. So now we did the Loftus one. That was very good fun, and I do enjoy the stadium. I don't know, it's just a nice experience than Ellis Park for me. And then looking forward to the Cape Town one. I mean, that's an awesome stadium, and it should be a heck of a game. Obviously, depending on what happens next week, it'll also make it probably spicy whichever way it goes. So no, it's going to be a good one. Looking forward to that.
Excellent. Well, we're going to get into the rugby in a sec, but first I've got to just show you. I don't know if it'll come up here. The drink. I've got this blurry background, but I'm drinking a smoothie at the moment. Believe it or not. on a Thursday night, and I've earned that
Times
smoothie.
have changed, eh?
I'll tell you what, I've earned that smoothie by going to the Virgin Active gym down the road at least twice a week for the last 4 weeks, and I got that smoothie. So I just had to flex a little bit and get that out there before we get into the rugby. I can see Gavin looks like he's got maybe a bit of doubt in his eyes there. But anyway, we'll head into the rugby now.
It's not doubt, it's disappointment.
Yeah,
it's confusion. I haven't been to the gym since I haven't been to the gym in this century. How's that? Last time I went to gym was in the 90s.
Wow. Well, Fareed is saying smooth guy. Yeah, nice one, Fareed. Welcome to Verna. Welcome to 2M Systems and Fareed. Boys in the live chat. Right, let's get cracking. Gentlemen, Couch, I'm going to throw you straight into the action. I've just went and got the handicaps now. The first game, it's Friday night at Loftus. Bulls minus 22.5 against the Griquas. We've got a points line here of 63.5. And I'll tell you how I handicap this game, minus 22.5, exactly as the bookies have. What are your views on this one, Couch?
Yeah, I'm gonna start you guys off with a tough to call this one. It's a bit difficult knowing where Griquas are. I mean, I think we know where the Bulls are pretty much. They're not as impressive as the log position says in my view. Not at the moment on form ratings or power rankings, if you want to call it that. But Griquas, I mean, after this past weekend, I thought the Griffins would give them a proper shout, make them work for it, and they gave them a sound beating. So it's a little bit tougher just figuring out exactly where Griquas are, but away from home, I think they're a different animal when they do play in Kimberley. And the Bulls, they shouldn't be too bothered by this Griquas team, but 22 is just I don't know, it's a little bit of a swing handicap there. It could be in that range for the majority of the game, and you just don't know how it's going to end, whether the Bulls will pull away or Griquas get a try or two at the end. Points wise, also a tough one. I mean, I love getting stuck into the points in this Currie Cup, but again, afternoon games just have me really, really getting involved, and I just don't quite trust evening matches, and I'm not sure how much Griquas are going to contribute to this points line.
Right, it'll be interesting to see what happens there on the points. This is a difficult one for me because I handicapped that one pretty much where it is now, but I find myself leaning towards the Bulls. I had a look at past results between these sides. Bulls won both games quite comfortably last year. But let's get the Oracle's view on this one. Oracle, any value here for the punters?
63 minus 22. So they're expecting 42-21 here. So expecting Griquas to get 21. I think plus 22 is good enough. I'm not confident on this game, Brent, but they put that Griffins team away, which no one else has been able to do for quite a while. It's been a while since the Griffins got smashed up, and this team put them away. So they may have found something. I'm not overly impressed with the Bulls. The Bulls last couple of games, that Griffins game especially, was poor, and they didn't put the Pumas away. The handicap, I wasn't impressed with them against the Pumas, and I definitely wasn't impressed with them against the Griffins. So I'm a plus punter here, but a very small one. I think 22 is enough. It might just be enough, like, a couple of points enough. This could be a 20, a 19, an 18 game. The Griquas is not going to win the game, and it's unlikely to be lower than 10. So 10 to 20 in that range. Small bet.
That does look a tricky bet for me, this one, or tricky game for me. I tend to agree with Johan, though. Consistently have been going overs as well. There has been a few that have gone unders, but it's amazing how some of these games start off quite slowly, and you think to yourself, gee, 60 or 63 is a long way off, and all of a sudden tries just start sort of flowing in from all angles. So I'm looking towards the overs there. I see Johan also saying he reckons Griquas plus. So I guess, Johan, that would also mean you'd probably look at Griquas points if you fancy the overall overs there. I just want to ask Couch a quick question. Couch, I know it's probably not that easy in the Currie Cup because the teams are out pretty late, and not all bookmakers price up on, for example, first try scorer. But let's face it, you built your reputation on good valued hookers. And the question is, are you still in that game?
I'm still in the try scoring game, but not so much the hookers. They've caught on to me. Since it's been legalized, hookers it's not that attractive anymore. It's lost its spice. So I've gone away from that a little bit because, as I said, that the value isn't there. But sometimes bookies are sleeping on a few guys, and I wouldn't say it's in this game. But Gumede is playing great rugby. He's going to start at 8 for the Bulls. Scored a few tries early on in the Currie Cup. He's been, I think, off the score sheet for the last 2 games. But as a first try scorer, he doesn't get that 10-1, 8-1 kind of prices. He's going to be 24-1 or something like that. So a little price on Gumede to run free there from number 8 for the Bulls, because I do expect them to get the first try. So then that's a decent one to have a look at.
That's it. And just to mention, I mean, we, of course, for any first-time viewers, talking about hookers in rugby and scoring first try. But, I mean, there was a time when you could get 33-1 on a hooker to score the first try, even bigger sometimes. And these days, a hooker's always in the top 3 in the betting because of the rolling malls. It's very difficult to to get a decent price there. Right, let's move on, gents. We've got the next game. I'm going to quickly look. I thought I priced this Western Province plus 4.5. I see now it's plus 1.5. I just want to see if there's been any movement during the week. Not a lot of movement. It started plus 3.5 Sharks, so there has been some money for the Sharks here. And Gav, I'll start with you. Western Province, slight underdogs at home against the Sharks team, unbeaten in 4 now. They've won 3 of their last 4, and they delivered very nicely for me, I must say, last week against the Cheetahs.
Sorry, did you say the Sharks were plus 3.5 at the start of the week?
Sorry. No, incorrect. Sorry. I got it written next to the Sharks. It was Western Province plus 3.5. So the money's come for the Sharks. Sorry. So, the money's come for
Province.
Sorry, guys. We're getting all mixed
up. I'm going to tell you that. Yeah, I'm going to tell you that they're not reading the Sharks team correctly. I mentioned the other day about a Sharks breakfast. We're going to have another Sharks breakfast here. Sharks are going to win this game by very close to 20 points. This is not a level game by any stretch of the imagination. Western Province are 3rd last on the table, above the Griffins and the Griquas, only because they played the Griffins twice and the Griquas haven't. This Western Province team has beaten nobody except the Griffins. This is race over. They might as well put the result in and pay us now before we even take a bet. This is wrong. This is wrong I'm going to use a country mile. It's wrong. It's very, very wrong. This is granny's pension stuff. But it's Currie Cup, so just take a nibble and not the whole lot. But it's wrong. For this tournament, this handicap is not set correctly. It's incorrect. It's wrong. It's wrong by a long way.
And quite interesting, Couch, to bring you in here, that the money seems to have actually been coming for the home side here. Because I must say, I'm with Gavin on this one. I'm surprised. I've been hell of impressed by the Sharks. I fortunately jumped on the Sharks at the right time. I've sort of caught them right. But the way they've been playing, I see no reason to stop backing them. I'm with the Oracle on this one, Couch.
Absolutely, Brent. I said it on the forum there. I was waiting for this one because it almost feels, and I mean, I'm sure Gavin can support this as well. The bookies have got some history in the back of their minds. They don't always think about where they are at present and the teams that they are putting out at present. It's a guy who's watches a year ago, 2 years ago. Anytime he's going to say, it's almost like that New Zealand thing that Gavin is talking about. When you see Western Province, it's like they can't be plus 10.5 against the Sharks, at home in Cape Town. It's just, it can't happen. But that's not true at the moment. The Sharks are the form team apart from the Lions in the competition. I think the one thing to keep an eye on, I haven't seen the Western Province team yet this week. So last week they had Kitsoff starting. I'm a little bit concerned that they might start pulling in a few of their bigger players. I know for the last weekend, and it might be the last two games, they're going to play the URC guys they almost see it as a hit out to get them. So actually this I think it might be this coming weekend. You might take an early play on Western Province to outperform their recent form when they get the guys back from bloody Hermanus suntanning, and then they're going to they should really pep up. But at the moment the Sharks have turned the dial. This young team has just been a breath of fresh air for them. They've played Jerenzo Julies at centre. He didn't play last week, but he's moved to outside centre. He's absolutely fire. So he's going to crack it up. Old Lionel Cronje started the old diesel engine in the first few weeks, but now he's humming. So now things are looking good in the Shark camp. That young Lock that played for the under-20s, when he came back after the under-20 tournament, he's been he's been impressive. So no, it's everything is humming at the Sharks at the moment, and yeah, I'm expecting big things from them this weekend.
And Johanna Esthuizen just mentioning their points line of 58.5. He says this could be a rare unders play. Now, I know to take the Crow Tips, for example, I know his philosophy is you go overs or you don't have a bet in the Currie Cup. And that's probably not the worst advice in the world. But every now and again, you do get a game that screams out unders. First of all, I know you're not exactly living in Cape Town, and maybe I should ask Gav this question, but things like the weather and that in Cape Town can play quite a role. Would you be saying no bet here? Would you call anything on the
price? No, this is a classic one for me where you say you take this, call it a level game. You're going to get Western Province 28 and Sharks 29 to get to that number. I think it is 28, 27, whatever it is. Just go under Province. Province are not getting over 20 points in this game. So instead of going under on the game, go under on Province. And yes, it's expected to rain on Saturday.
Okay, I was going to say the weather, I think, Gavin, is the weather apparently is looking like, I know the side it's still okay for Saturday, but I think maybe it might pull in that side on Saturday. But yeah, in general, I'm not a big overs play in Cape Town. Again, the games just aren't quite suited this weekend to the big overs play. I like a 3 o'clock game in Joburg or in Bloem, and you can really, or Kimberley obviously is first choice as well. So then you can really pile it on. Where Cape Town just not as big a overs place for me. Even in Currie Cup, as you guys say, I mean, we love going overs in Currie Cup, but yeah, I'll be a little bit scared of that one.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you there, and I think Johan, you might be onto something with that unders. One thing I do want to say, the Bulls, went to Cape Town in week 1 of the Currie Cup. I think it'd been raining the whole week. It was an absolute mud bath. There were 55 points in the game. Cheetahs played Province there as well. I think they were something like 46, 47 in ridiculous conditions. So can be a bit worrying, but at 58, I'm definitely not in the overs camp. And I would certainly consider going unders there. We might even get that line moving in a point or two. Right, that takes us
just on that one. I was talking about doing multis a little bit more. It's not big accumulators. It's just multis. So there are a few bookies out there that do give you alternative points. So that also works out nicely because then you can get something like under 64 and you double that into over 56 in the first game. To me it gives me that little bit more breathing room. So I quite like those because alternative, I always feel like I get myself that one extra score in there into the multi.
Don't you find, and this is interesting you mention that because I do that every now and again as well, but I often find it's a confidence thing. So in other words, like you take my newsletter, for example, when I'm 4 or 5 winners on the trot, I'm happy to call it 12 to 10 shot, a 15 to 10 shot. But when I'm 6 or 7 losers on the trot, and those who've been on my newsletter over the years will know that that's not uncommon. I'm desperate for a winner. And what I tend to do then is I'd rather take like 2 4 to 10 shots and throw them into a double and try to get it. Do you find you similar to that?
I hear you, but that's just kind of my solid strategy at the moment. But it is you almost get a little bit I don't know, depressed or unhappy when you go on the alternative and it's you're going for 52 and it ends up being 70 points and you think, geez, I could have been 2-1, and I'm going on this. But in the long run, I just feel that's the steady approach. It's the same with the alternative cap. Your fancy ends up sneaking a win and you are on plus 14.5 and you think, geez, why did I be this I don't know, pussyfooting around? But at the end of the day, I think it's for me it's the way to go at the moment. I still, if I'm confident, take the other players as well, but I know that's my bankers into multis for the weekend and things like that.
And I mean, each punter to his own, everyone's got a different strategy. And Gab, I just want to bring you in on that. So Couch is talking about, and I know the Crow Tips likes this as well. You take 2 short prices, you lump them together, you get your even money, your 11 to 10. Now, I know, I don't know if he watches the show anymore, but Bertie or Compost on the Good for Game Forum, he had totally the opposite approach. He's saying, and I think, Gav, you lean more in this direction as well. He's saying, don't take the 9 to 10, take the 18 to 10, take the 2 to 1. In other words, if you're right, you're probably going to hopefully be more right. Are you more in that camp?
I am. I actually had a rule where I don't go lower than 7 or 10, and I must be honest, even 7 or 10 bets up, they're rare for me. So generally, it's 9 to 10 if I'm having a bigger bet. If I'm having a smaller bet, I definitely take a bigger minus. And I've been known to take the 4 to 1s and the 5 to 1s and the 6 to 1s, 15 points away, happily. And yeah, I do get them, and I get them more often than I don't. I don't take them on every game, but I would say I'm well up on alternative handicaps, and they've always been bigger prices. I very seldom do what Han does and take. Seldom. I never do it. I don't know. Being in this industry for so long, I've just seen so many people die on those 4 to 10s and 3 to 10s and 5 to 10s. I don't touch them.
It's funny you mentioned that, because last week I took the newsletter bet. I did a bit of a variation. I went New Zealand over 31.5 points, unaware that it was raining like anything there in New Zealand. And then I threw in the 4 to 10 shot, Australia plus 20.5. What happens? New Zealand bet lands by half time in the pouring rain. And my 4 to 10 shot, I'm sweating bullets at the end of the game for the 4 to 10 shot to arrive. So, yeah, it all depends. But I can certainly see merit in both systems there. Fareed, yeah, I remember you saying last week, Fareed, take New Zealand to beat the handicap by sort of 20 points above the cap, and that certainly did arrive. Anyways, gents, we're halfway through the Currie Cup. We've got another big game on the go. Cheetahs are plus 2.5 now against the, let me just check, I got that right, plus 2.5 against the Lions. And they opened, I think, plus 7.5. So there has been some money for the home team here. And Couch, I think it's you to go first.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kicking myself for pulling the trigger earlier, Brent, because I told you on the forum again that, like, this is price. I can't say it's priced the wrong way, but they're not valuing the Lions here at all. I mean, as good as the Sharks are playing at the moment, the Sharks beat the Cheetahs, and the Lions are still better than the Sharks at this stage. I know it's difficult in this Currie Cup to pull, comparisons like that. It's not easy to try and get a cross forum reference like that, or cross form reference. But to me, this Lions team is way better than the Cheetahs. I think, again, the Cheetahs are seen as the stalwart of Currie Cup because they've got the best team available. The others, you don't know the teams, you don't know the players. But this is not true this year. The Cheetahs just, I don't know whether the off-field things are starting to bother them. They just don't have the cattle in their group at the moment. This Lions team is absolutely purring. I mean, they are playing fantastic rugby. You can take them overs. You can take them on toast, Brent. The Lions are going to smash the Cheetahs. I don't want to sound like Gavin, yeah, but this is best bet station. I'm backing the Lions big time.
And I guess the question, Couch, before we bring Gavin in is, do you sort of, because now that the money's come for the Cheetahs, you're getting a lesser handicap that would open. The question is, what's going to happen from here? Do you think now it's reached this point where it's not going to come in anymore? So if you're going to get on the Lions, you must hop on now, or do you wait a day and see if you can get a choice game?
No, I'm taking more now, Brent. I'm waiting. I was actually wondering whether I can open a second screen here at the same time while I'm on the show, and I can put some more on there, because I mean, I've been taking it. I was surprised it was 5. I was like, yeah, thank goodness, this is less than a score. This is beautiful. Came into 3.5. Now it's 2 and 1 and what are you, 2.5? It's crazy. And I'll even hit you on a try scorer bet though. Old Relenzo, what's his name? Du Plessis.
Renzo Du Plessis.
Yeah, he's an absolute little monster. Yeah, he's like flipping Bismarck Du Plessis meets Kwagga Smith. He's the ultimate. You can take him to the bank. He scored 5 tries in 3 games. This guy's a try scoring machine. Take him first try scorer. The bookies don't know it yet. You're gonna get him 20-1. It's beautiful. That it's gonna be poetry in motion for the Lions this weekend.
Excellent, confident on the Lions. A man who's made many a rand on the Lions over the years of the Oracle. What do you make of this one, Oracle?
One of my favourites, Brent, was the 2010 year when they didn't win a single Super Rugby game. They were 0. They'd lost all of them. But out of those, I think it was 11 games. Out of them, I think they won 8 out of 11 handicaps. So, yes, I mean, there's a great example. And I remember winning lots of money on them in 2010. And then obviously the Springboks didn't take anybody from the Lions, and that's how they won that 2011 Currie Cup, which was a fantastic day for me as well, a fantastic tournament. I think they were 2-1 or 22-10 and didn't lose a game. Anyway, this game, so if you'd asked me 3 weeks ago, or even at the beginning of the tournament, I would have said this is probably the game of the tournament. This one will be a level game. It would be closely fought out, but the Cheetahs are not what I thought they were 3 weeks ago. They've, again, shown us that they started at 30-0 or whatever it was against the Griffins and nearly lost the game. You and I spoke about the not going under the poles. This Cheetahs team has drawn to the Bulls, which I expected them to win comfortably. They've lost to the Bulls as well, which I expected them to win as well. This Cheetahs team is not what we thought it was. This is, again, another 20-point game. I remember when we used to do what we called mythical handicaps, and I think this is the kind of, you could have a Lions versus Sharks bet here, and I think it'll be pretty close. Handicap, that is. So how many Sharks win by versus how many Lions win by, and I think it's going to be very close. That's a 9 to 10. That's a 9 to 10er, because they can both beat this margin by a similar amount. So yeah, Cheetahs are no, I don't understand. I don't understand how the money's come for Cheetahs, and I don't understand how it's come for Province. No idea. It's wrong. Both of them are wrong. They're way wrong.
Interesting. Yeah, and I like that mythical bet idea. I'm not going to bring it up on the screen because any new punter tuning in will get confused as hell when I see me pricing up the Cheetahs against the Sharks. But it's a nice concept. Always nice to have some of those mythical bets. Johan also saying he likes the overs there in Bloemfontein. I tend to agree with you there, Johan. I think we could have a lot of points in this one, but I'm also with the boys here. I think the Lions are going to do the business. I just haven't seen anything in the Cheetahs in recent weeks that makes me think any differently.
Correct. They've been so poor. The last 3 games have been so poor.
What will the line be on Lions points there, guys? If you calculate that, got an idea?
It was 58.5. So Lions will be
31.
what 30, 31, and then Cheetahs will be 28ish.
Still, I'll take overs on the Lions there as well.
Yeah. I think
get 31 points.
And then we can move on to the last game, guys. This is quite interesting because the Griffins have been one of those teams.
Griffins are playing the Griffins. And I have plus 27 Griffins against Griffins.
Oh,
Give it to me now. Give it to me now. I want to get on.
I think the Griffins have a chance.
Griffins price to win the game. I want the one on the left. What price are they to win the game?
What the Griffins beat Pumas. Sorry about that, gents. And fortunately, it's a gambling show, so everyone who's watching is over 18. That was classic. I've definitely got to get a clip of that one. So anyway, we don't have a point slide here, guys, but let me bring you on there. Griffins up against the Pumas, plus 27.5. Now, Couch, I can tell you, I capped this game plus 32.5. It opened to 30.5, so that tells me money coming for the Griffins here at 27.5. I'll give you my opinion in a sec. What do you think?
Yeah, again, such a tough one. Just based on last week, I thought I had a good idea. Got to grips with the Griffins. I think we all made some money on taking the Griffins points overs because they kept sneaking a couple of scores, and they actually scored quite a few against the Cheetahs. And then last week happened, and I didn't watch the game, so I don't know exactly. But I mean, you pretty much know what happens when you get 50 and you score 7. So something went horribly wrong there, and I don't know if it's just a step too far now for the Griffins, whether the tournament is getting long for a team that's new to proper competition like this, and not having the depth and not being able to do it week in and week out. So that is a serious concern, where obviously the Pumas are used to playing in tournaments like this. So Pumas, again, it's the same as we said there. The Cheetahs, they're not the same team that they were last season. And obviously, they're not playing against the same opposition. I think the squad systems of the Sharks and the Bulls and the Lions are just so much better this year that it's no easy beats for the Pumas to just rock up and collect points. But this one obviously is. I don't know. Someone told me they just feel that the Griffins still have a win in the season, but I'm starting to wonder. But the Pumas, I don't know if they've got the firepower to put the Griffins to bed, by a big margin. But I mean, if you looked at last week, was it last week when it was Pumas and Bulls? They were pretty tight at the 60-minute, and the Bulls just switched on and pulled away. So, the Pumas aren't bad all of a sudden. They'll definitely beat this Griffins team, or I say definitely, but the handicap, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I'm very much, when I say very much agreement, I agree the Pumas are going to win. Personally, I do like the Pumas on the handicap here. I just feel the Griffins, like you say, maybe running out of a bit of steam. I mean, it's a big ask. They're playing the 8th consecutive week. So the other sides, but I think we all know the other sides have got more depth in the squad. And I think this is getting to the stage where the Pumas cannot afford any slip-ups as well. They've got to hammer home for the bonus point when they. So I'm going to probably be looking at points in this game, but I do think the Pumas can beat this handicap. But I've got just a feeling the Oracle's going to disagree with me here. Oracle, Have the Griffins got your money?
Well, Hein just mentioned that the Griffins couldn't win the game, but on your previous fixture, obviously the Griffins were going to win the game. So you've got to be careful what goes up on the screen. But okay, so I'm going to tell you. I'm going to go back to my in-play comment of a few weeks ago, which arrived. I'm going to tell you the Pumas are a couple of points on the log behind the Sharks, but obviously we're expecting the Sharks to win. They're 5 points behind the Cheetahs. I think what's going to happen here is the Pumas are going to go out and get their 4 tries, and they're going to get their bonus point, and they're going to pull off the players. And I think at that point, once the Pumas have got their 4th try, or once they've got their bonus point, you can take the plus on the Griffins here, and that could be 40.5. It could be 25.5. Whatever it is at that moment, that's when I would take the bet. Is because the Griffins will finish the game well. As Hans said, or even Brent, I'm not sure who said it earlier, this is probably their best chance to win a game. They think they can win. They obviously aren't going to win the game. But I think that's exactly what's going to happen here. I think this Pumas team will fly out the blocks, get their bonus point, and then, considering bigger games are still to come, they'll pull everybody off and put on some youngsters. That's what I'm expecting. So Griffins plus in play after the bonus point.
Yeah, and I think if I see the Undertaker's comment there, he goes Griffins overs whatever the line, and we'll have the Undertaker back on certainly for some rugby championship action soon as well. But I think that also plays nicely into his bet there as well, because if the Pumas do go well ahead, and that's often the thing when I back the big underdog overs on points, I don't mind if they fall 20 or 30 points behind. In fact, I almost welcome it, because then, like you say, Gav, the other team now step off the gas and the points flow. And I mean, that's where the Griffins have, I think, scored a lot of their tries this season. Couch, are we roping you into any points plays here?
Is this it's a Sunday afternoon game, or is it the
Sunday 3 o'clock should be, yeah.
Oh, that's points. That's points all day. No, I'm with Hendrik there. I don't know which I like best, total points or whether it'll be Griffins. Probably if they give you a really, really low quote on Griffins, then it's worthwhile. As you guys say, I mean, it could be a intercept and just sticking in there, or could be foot off the gas from the Pumas at the end. But yeah, I think and we say they're tired, but they'll also be hurting. I think from last week they were kind of in the mix and feeling like they were doing well in the Currie Cup, at least giving people a good run for it. And then last week they got their asses handed to them. So I'm sure it will be, they'll be up for it this weekend against the team that they probably think, they can give a little bit of a run to. So no, I'll take some Griffins points if it's something decent. If it's not over 14.5 points.
Yeah, and just. Farid is saying he's running a little bit scared of that, but he's talking himself into a big Pumas bet. And I would suggest to Farid there that both bets can be winners ultimately if you stick to the points. Yeah, in which case you may just want to go overs on points anyway if you're fan. But I mean, there's nothing. The Pumas could I would rather than go for the Pumas on the cap. I'm probably going to go Pumas points because I'm like Farid. I'm leaning towards the Pumas here. But certainly I wouldn't talk anyone out of the Griffins over. So one of those games where, as long as the points flow, Gav, we'll all be happy.
Yeah, I think this is a case of, excuse me, with a 27.5, this could be a 65-pointer, and that would put them at, 12, 15 points in that range. And they've only failed to get that once, I think, the 7 last week. But this the Pumas could go 40-0 up, like really. They could go 40-0 up. It would be 28, sorry. I mean, they could be 28-0 up in, 15 minutes. And then you're going to get plus 45 on this team, and that's worth it. I'm a plus 45 punter after 15, 20 minutes in the game when Pumas are 28-0 up, because that's how I'm reading this one. Not a big bet, but that's how I read it.
Yeah, fair enough. I think, I'm expecting the points.
I do expect, last thing, Brent, on your question, I do expect the Griffins to get close to 20 points here. 13, 14 plus an extra try, at least. I can't see them getting less than 20 points.
But so I believe that, I reckon the points line here is going to come out 72.5. So what does that make? So 72.5 less 27? What is
45.
That?
22. Yeah, so it could be 20. Yeah.
Yeah,
well, I expect
Yeah, I mean, it may not, but I think it's going to come out at 72.5. And I'll still probably be leaning, but I'll still probably be leaning over. As Hendrik says, whatever the line. Gents, that's the end of the Currie Cup. I'm going to get into best bets now, but just maybe to touch sides with both of you. First of all, Couch, any early fancy for you? Gav's sort of spoken about the rugby champs. He hasn't, I don't think getting involved here, but you've seen the handicaps. They're both games are about -7.5. Anything catch your eye at this stage, or is it a case of waiting maybe for some of the points lines in that next week?
Yeah, again, it's a difficult one of where exactly the teams are. I think we know exactly where the Springboks are. Strong team, home ground. How they're going to play. It's just figuring out the All Blacks. I mean, I heard you guys talk, and it's is this the old All Black team bouncing back? We made some money off them last week, thinking that they would, and Argentina would go to sleep a little bit. It's tough going back to back, but was that a dead cat bounce there from the All Blacks showing that they still have some metal, but they still fall off, or are they starting to find their groove? I mean, Leon McDonald falling out of the coaching system there. I mean, I can't think it's great news, but maybe it's just consolidates them a bit as well. So a lot of things up in the air in terms of where the teams are, but never easy at Ellis Park. But I'm not going to go out there and say, listen, the Boks are going to spank them by beating 7.5. That's where my alternatives come in, and I take 14.5 on the All Blacks onto Argentina to win the game, and I'll walk away with my even money. And you guys can take the risk on the All Blacks winning on the board and things like that.
That's it. I must say, as Bok fans, I think we all got such respect for the All Blacks, just in terms of the fact that we just know you never write them off. Gav, anything then Australia, Argentina, any thoughts on that for next week?
I think if you're a South Africa punter, I think you can. I think this handicap comes down. I think 7's the highest. I don't know about you, Brent, but I've never seen -7 South Africa before. I think it's the highest we've ever seen. I think it will probably settle on 4 or 5, more likely 5. So it'll come down a couple of points. And I think this Argentina handicap can go to 10. So depending on what you're doing, if you're going to be a minus Argentina punter, you should probably take your bet now. If you're looking to back Australia, you can wait a little bit. If you're backing South Africa, wait a little bit. And if you're backing New Zealand, you can probably back them now. I do think the handicaps will be 5 and 10 from the 2 7s they are at the moment. And my bets are too small. I don't need to take them now.
No, 100%. I'll be waiting on those games as well. No need to get involved. I'm not expecting actually a lot of line movement there. I think it'll be pretty much it's going to end up pretty much where it is now. But let's get into our best bets for the week. And we'll start with you, Couch. What of the games we discussed, what would be your best? And is there anything else on the weekend, even if it's not rugby related, that catches your eye?
I was a bit surprised. I got my colleague at work was saying that the Formula One was back this week, and I said, no, man, they're probably just starting to work on the cars again after the break. But no, it's the Dutch Grand Prix this weekend, so Max Verstappen's going to be back in it. So I'll enjoy that. But it's actually a bit fun now again. You can start punting on it because it's not a runaway story. But I have a feeling Max Verstappen will bounce back in his orange in front of his fans. So I'm thinking Max Verstappen in the Grand Prix. And then definitely I'm sticking. I'm not really sticking to the orange. Let's make it orange turning to red there for the Lions. Lions doing the business against the Cheetahs. I can't have that handicap. I'm going large there. I would get involved in the Sharks. I am involved in the Sharks, but I've got enough of unfortunately, I've still got a little bit of favoritism and fan bias there on the Sharks. So I won't go too big. I don't want to lose double on the pocket and the heart. So a little bit on the Sharks, but definitely Lions. So that's where I'm going.
I see the boys talking about the MPC as well. I know neither of the three of us, I don't think, follow the MPC, but boys, throw some bets in the live chat there, and we can put them up. Johan Esthuizen's treble, Bulls game over 63.5, Western Province under 28.5, Cheetahs Lions over 58.5. That'll work out at 11-2. And I can tell you, I did have a look at the Grand Prix. Couch, Verstappen going for his 4th Grand Prix in a row in the Dutch Grand Prix, and you're getting a price on him this week. Normally, go back 2-3 months, you were getting 1-4, and you couldn't argue with the odds. But you can get like 18, 90-10 on Verstappen to win. So that becomes a better play. And
you can do old WSB promo, cover yourself for second.
Oh, the second place promo, 100%. Yeah, that's also true. Right, let's see what the Oracle thinks. as far as best bets go on the week, Oracle?
I think you can flip a coin as to which one you want to do on the Lions and the Sharks if you want to just have one bet. But I'm going to suggest a double here, and I'm going to tell you to take -9.5 on both of them, so on alternative handicaps. I'm expecting to get close to 2-1 on that. So it could be anything from 7 to 10-1, depending on where you bet. And if you're a little bit more braver, you can take -14.5 and on both of them, expecting a 15 or more point win. But I'm expecting this game to be close to 20, if not higher. So -9.5 double at whatever. I think the lowest price there would probably be 7-1, but you're probably looking at anything up to 10-1, depending on where you get it.
Nice aggression there from the Oracle.
Brent, I don't know whether I should be concerned that me and Gavin are so aligned. It's a bit worrying.
Well, let me sum it up for you, Couch. Yes, you should be very concerned indeed. No, I'm only joking. The Oracle's actually in pretty good form at the moment. Just Henrik saying F1 is boring. I must say, Henrik, it's only I write the article on it, so I don't actually follow it that closely in terms of watching. I do agree the MotoGP is more entertaining. Anyways, gents, that brings us to the end of the show. It was great to have Couch Critic back. Couch, good to have you on the show, mates, and hope to see you again over the coming weeks, man. Just give us a shout when you're keen to come and tip a few winners.
Thanks, 100%. The only thing is I can say it's odds on that the wife isn't happy when I tell her it's my turn to show, and then she's even more unhappy when I say I'm going to do a double show. So it can't be too often, huh?
Yes, I can imagine she's not that impressed. But you know what? I mean, I know a guy who's been married a lot longer than you, and his wife's been a lot more upset than your wife. And on that note, Oracle, thanks for joining the show.
Yeah, cheers. Cheers, everyone. Enjoy.
Excellent. Thanks, guys. Thanks to all the boys in the live chat. Always good to have your contributions, and let's hope we can make some money this week. We'll see you next week when, of course, we've got Rugby Championship to talk to as well at 9 o'clock Thursday night for the Handicap Rugby Chat.